Hey everyone. So this is my knee-jerk initial reaction of Mission Impossible Fallout. I know that it came out last year. I'm just now watching it. I'm a little bit slow. I'm a little behind, but this is it. So, ugh. Where do I start with this one? I I'm gonna just say I'm so glad I did not go see this in theaters. And for any of those of you who know anything about Mission Impossible, or even if you don't, I don't even know which number this is. I lost track like around four. Like they came out with Mission Impossible 3 and then Ghost Protocol, something, Rogue Nation. I don't know. They've gone crazy. Tom Cruise is even one of the producers, which means he's keeping this thing going. And sadly, in today's world, if a movie is even slightly successful, they make like, I don't know how many sequels. I mean, the Fast series, just everything, they're just going too far. So, having said that, I grew up loving James Bond. I grew up with Tom Cruise in his Mission Impossible movies, especially the first one, because the first one was huge, and we were watching it over and over. Dun, 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 everyone did that, and now it's like we're how many movies in, and in my personal opinion, Mission Impossible 2 will always be my favorite. I don't care what you say. You can have your own opinion. That's fine. But 2 is the most epic, the best soundtrack. Hans Zimmer did it, and you probably don't know this about me, but I'm a huge Hans Zimmer fan. Yes, I love my background and my display. It was my Dark Knight trilogy poster that I made myself. My superhero poster, which was a gift. Oh, that's my Max. I want to show off. It's my Max Fleischer Superman. I'm pretty proud of that. Yes, that is a gross cup. I need to wash that. And then I have a little display over there. My arcade Superman poster. The Justice League Big Figs from BVS. And my Ray lightsaber. Yeah, it's Ray lightsaber even though it's Luke's. Anyways, off topic. I'm pretty cool. No, but Mission Impossible 2 will always be the best Mission Impossible. I felt like 3 really didn't speak to me, and I need to rewatch it again just to make sure I didn't miss anything and I didn't give it too harsh of a judgment, because I give that movie like a -5 on my initial viewing of it. Especially because I was so hyped after 2, and then there was a long pause between 2 and 3. I'm getting carried away with the Mission Impossible saga, but 3 was a letdown. 4 was kind of a reboot / sequel for me. It kind of kept it alive, kept it going. Wow, that actually looks like sideburns there. ADHD. So, okay. So the movies were getting more interesting for me, more entertaining, but they still weren't making the quality of 2. And what I do give them credit for, they do a lot of practical effects, and they do these camera angles of Tom Cruise hanging off of things. That's kind of their thing now, but it's kind of getting old at this point. So by this movie, it's like just another day in the office. Let me talk about Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is old. There, I said it. He looks old in this movie. He doesn't look like he used to look. His face at one point was kind of like, "Meh." And let me just tell you, he's doing these things like a 20-year-old him would do. And believe you and me, Tom Cruise works out. He's a badass. He's old, but he's a badass. But you're not selling me in these movies, Tom. I mean, and I see how hard you're running, and I see that. That's a live shot. That's not CGI. It's not a stunt man. I see you running, Tom. But bro, you're not jumping off rooftops at 55, okay? You're just not. And the worst part is he's not even trying to do like parkour, which is legitimate. People can jump and land, and there's a technique to it. He's just free falling. He's just throwing himself all over the place. Climbing up a helicopter rope. Falling off a helicopter rope. Climbing back up. No, this movie failed on so many levels. Now, let's talk about Henry Cavill. Because I have to. Because the controversy over this man in Justice League and the mustache and the whole thing, that guy. The whole thing surrounding Henry Cavill had me so hyped for this movie because I'm seeing him in the trailers and he's like, oh, I'm gonna get you, Tom Cruise, and he looks buff for a change, you know? In BVS, he didn't look so buff. Not as buff as Man of Steel. He didn't look as big as Man of Steel. He looked like he slimmed down, kind of toned it, instead of, puffed. But here, he looks pretty big. And he has a pretty big presence, too. It's just his acting. You could tell, like, his very first scene, you could tell he was bringing in that corny, cheesy Man of Steel crap. And he's delivering these lines. And Tom Cruise, you can tell the difference between the two actors. And it's not the writing. The writing is pretty good in these movies. I'll say that. The writing isn't terrible. Some of the lines are predictable. I did actually say a line out loud just a few minutes ago. I said it, I spoke for the person because I knew what she was going to say. Without giving spoilers. That's awesome. So, we're 7 minutes in. I need to hurry up. But the whole thing with Cavill just was not... It was there and it wasn't there. I don't know if I'm sold on it. It's not... I mean... He pulled it off. Kind of, I don't know. I mean, if this was his way of saying I don't want to be Superman anymore, then by all means, like, have at it. But, I mean, you're like, I don't know, how tall is he? He's pretty short, actually. But in this movie, compared to Tom Cruise, he looks like a giant. So, there's a scene where him and Tom Cruise, that scene where he's in the bathroom and he's going at it, and you think he's looking, gnarly, and he is. You could tell he did some training. But, my point is that he got his butt handed to him numerous times by people that realistically he should not get his butt handed to him. Being that size and the deadly assassin that he is. So, all in all, practical effects. There were some Spielberg moments to this. I was kind of impressed because it did have my heart going a little bit and it had me like, ah! But here's what I'm going to end on because we're at 8 minutes and I'm not doing another 20-minute review. I would do 20 minutes or more if I had people that were like commenting or could bounce dialogue off somebody. And that's a glare, and I apologize for that glare. We're going to wrap this up. My whole thing is I'm 30 years old. I've been watching movies since I was 7. Let's just say 7. It was really 5, but let's just say 7 for whatever reason. I'm 30 years old. You cannot keep showing me cliche aspects of like cliche things from movies that you're going to convince me is reality. You're just not. You have the choice of making a good, practical movie with realism in it. I have seen them before. They're some of my favorite movies of all time. And you could say, Mike, how can you love science fiction and comic books and all this stuff when you want realism? There has to be a science to it. Either you exist in a world where the laws of physics and science do not exist, or they are extenuated by some means or purposes. I'm talking about the Matrix, I'm talking about alien planets, I'm talking about sci-fi. If you give the statement flat out that says we're going way above beyond reality, okay, then I'm on board. But if you keep putting out these Fast and the Furious, John Wick crap, where things happen in these movies. People can just drive through an intersection and miss every single car that's coming at them just at the right time to hold up the people that are chasing you more than once. Oh, don't even get me started on that BMW. Tom Cruise loves his BMWs. Okay, we get that. Also, there's similar scenes here. There's a remote control car via, a remote control with a BMW. James Bond, Pierce Brosnan did that. There are similar scenes to the Dark Knight chase through Chicago. I saw a few of them. There's even music in here that's like, it's like The Dark Knight Rises. And I'm going, did Hans Zimmer do this? Is Chris Nolan in here? There's, it's there, and okay, I can go along with that. But what I'm talking about is the realism here. I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, I don't really think I'm spoiling it. I don't think anybody was in a hurry to see this. I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh my god, he spoiled it. There is just too much in here that realistically would never I mean, the man would be dead like 10 minutes in. And I understand that doesn't make for a good movie and that doesn't make for a good plot, but you know what? Mission Impossible 2 was a great movie, and it involved just a simple, there was a bad guy, there was the, what am I talking about? The disease thing, the chimera, whatever. There was the disease, he had to get the disease, he had to stop the guy that was trying to, create the problem, or whatever, the rogue, the guy that was IMF and went rogue, whatever his name was. And it was just a simple duke it out fight. Yes, there's a motorcycle. He rides through explosions. But it was cool at that time. That was cool. It was like, oh my gosh, it looks real and it's cool. There was no CGI back then. And if there was, they didn't use it. Maybe for that car chase scene where you could say they went close to the edge. There's a few things. It's not a perfect movie, but it's great. It's a highlight. This, not a highlight. No, not whatsoever. Oh, don't even get me started on the helicopter scene, bro. Do not even get me started on the helicopter. And that, there, right there, it's in the trailer. That's not a spoiler. Tom Cruise gets hit on a motorcycle, tucks and rolls, eats some pavement, gets up and walks it off like, I just got hit. I was on a motorcycle. I got hit. And my leg hurt, but I'm walking off. And then, I hate to nitpick and I hate to tear down writers, but when you throw stuff at me, bro, you cannot expect me as a 30-year-old intelligent male to sit there and believe these lies that you're throwing at me. So, overall, I'm coming up on 15 minutes here. I apologize for the length. I can't decide what to rate this movie. I don't want to say it's a piece of crap. It was fun. It was entertaining. You really don't need to know the specifics or the details or this and that. It's so long and it's so exploitative. They're going to explain everything. So, I mean, you really wouldn't even need to see the other movies to know what's happening. There were times where I put down my food, or it was like I was eating, and I missed something, plot, names, whoever, and I look back up and I'm like, oh, I could just pick it up and go right along with it. So, I don't want to say it's like the worst movie ever, because I've seen horrible movies. I don't want to say this was horrible. It wasn't great. It wasn't worth seeing in theaters. I watched it for free on Showbox, and meh. I don't even want to give it a 5-star rating. Like, I don't. I mean, 1 out of 5. I don't even know where it falls on the scale. Real camera work. Some of the actors are good. The fighting is good. So 1. I can give it a 1, and I can sleep at night with the 1. I really, guys, I don't have any other pluses. I mean, like I said, Tom Cruise looks super old, and it's really hard to believe that he can be that kind of a indestructible spy. And of course, at the end of the movie, he ends up hospitalized and is like, "Oh, my ribs." But I'm like, your ribs should have been broken like 2 hours ago, so I could have stopped watching this movie. So that's my review. I'm sorry to even review this because I know nobody cares about this movie, but I had to, like, the stuff was running through my mind as the credits were rolling. I don't know if there was a post-credit scene or not. Nobody cares. Please don't make a 7th one. I mean, just... Please don't. There were some awe moments that was like, oh, okay, you know. There were some moments that were just like, oh, okay. So, 1.5. Give it a 1.5. Final verdict. I'd really like to know what you guys thought of it. So, now there's commercials behind me. I don't want to get copyrighted on YouTube again. So let me know what you think about it in the comments. And, Avengers Endgame is selling out so hardcore that I don't know when I'm going to be able to see it. But as soon as I do, I will write down as much as I can without spoilers. And I will definitely have something to say about it. Because if you know me, then you know I always have something to say about everything. So, Mission Impossible Fallout number 8 or 12 or whatever. Please stop making them Tom. Alright, that's it. Signing off. Thanks for watching, guys.